AlsalamAlykum Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. This is part 4 of the Christian Dilemma. And the Christian Dilemma I'll be presenting today, I have made several videos regarding it. But this video I'll be adding more verses. And since I'm making a series about the Christian Dilemma, therefore, I should probably add it into the series and make another video regarding it. And today I'll be adding like four verses extra on it so I can, prove my claim of today's dilemma. And basically, we're going to start up with John chapter 17, verse 1 to 3. And we can see that Jesus here prays. Okay, he says, after this, Jesus said, and he looked toward the heaven and prayed. All right, he looks to the heaven and he prayed, Father. Okay, so we can see that he is praying to the Father and he's speaking to the Father. The hour has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. For you granted him authority over all people, that he might give eternal life to all those you have given him. Now this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. So Jesus says here, he's praying to the Father, and then he now directly speaks to the Father by saying you, that they may know you, okay? Because here in the beginning, he speaks to the Father, he's praying to the Father, and he says that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. Jesus calls the Father. Now we can come to the fact that the only true God according to Jesus is the Father. That is point number one. We can also come to the fact that anywhere in the Bible, Jesus is going to speak about an only God or an only true God, it's going to be the Father. Because here, according to John 17:3, the only true God, or in other words, the only God according to Jesus is the Father. So if Jesus is going to speak again in the Bible, in any gospel, he's going to speak about another only God, it's going to be the Father. So that's why we're going to go to John chapter 5, verse 43 to 44. Jesus says, I have come in my Father's name. But then he says, how can you believe when you accept glory that from one another and do not seek the glory that comes from the one who alone is God? So now he is referring to an only God as the one who alone is God. So there's several reasons why he's referring to the Father. Point number one, in the context, he speaks about the Father, and then directly he goes on with this statement. So not only he speaks about the Father in the context, but then when he says the one who alone is God, as we already from the beginning, we agreed upon, if Jesus is going to speak again in the Bible about an only God, it's going to be the Father. So here he's referring to the Father, the one who alone is God, and only because in the context he speaks about the Father. Now we can come to the fact, according to Jesus himself, that the only one who alone is God, and the only true God, and the only one deserving the title true God is going to be the Father, which completely refutes the Trinity. They cannot be the same true God if only one person of the three persons of the Trinity is God. So therefore we can come to the fact that that completely refutes the Trinity. We can see in Revelation 3:12, Jesus says, I will make you a pillar in the temple of my God, in the name of my God, down from my God. He has a God above him. We can also see that in John 20:17, do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I'm ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. So he has a God above him, and this God above him, according to him himself, Jesus, he's the one who alone is God, and the only true God and only one deserving the title true God. So that also proves my point that Jesus worshipped the Father, and he was his God, the only God deserving of worship. We can also see in Luke 6:12 that Jesus prays, and then he spent the night praying to God, praying to the only true God according to Jesus himself, which as well also proves my point. And we can also go to another also verse, which is Acts 2:22. Fellow Israelites, listen to this. Jesus of Nazareth was a man accredited by God to you by miracles and wonders and signs which God did among you through him, as you yourselves know. What does this sound like? Does this sound like God himself? Is God accredited by God? That doesn't sound like God, that sounds like a prophet. A man accredited by God by miracles, and God did miracles among this man, Jesus Christ. He did these miracles through him. So that as well also could also prove my point. Another verse which is pretty similar, John 8:40, in the words of Jesus. Jesus says, as it is, you are looking for a way to kill me. A man was told you the truth that I heard from God. Jesus says that he's a man, and this man heard from God. That as well doesn't sound like it's God himself. He's a man that he heard from God. That sounds like a prophet, agreeing with Islam. And we already acknowledge, everyone, that Jesus never says, worship me. And we agree upon this point. Jesus never says in those words, in a clear way, worship me. He did receive worship that I'm gonna refute the next video, inshallah, which is a bad argument anyways. But he never says, worship me. But then he makes it clear for us in John 4:23 that the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. So Jesus never says worship me, but says that the true worshippers. Is this like a coincidence or something? Clearly Jesus was not God, and clearly Jesus had a God above him, which is the only true God according to him, the only one deserving the title true God. The only one who alone is God is the Father, according to Jesus. Completely refuse the Trinity. How is the Trinity true and they're the same true God and Jesus is God if only the Father is the only true God? Only in the Greek, which is monos, which means only alone. So if the Father is the only God, alone He's God, that completely distinguishes or makes a distinction and completely is clear evidence Jesus cannot be God according to the Bible. And that was today's video. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.